Rumor: Madam Web originally established Andrew Garfield as the universe's current Spider-Man. Underwent massive reshoots after a switch to Tom Holland effed up the film's timeline. This story comes to us from Spencer Bakuli over at Bounding Into Comics. In the latest example of just how detrimental Hollywood's constant desire for marketing synergy can be to their products, a new rumor suggests that Sony's upcoming Madam Web had to undergo massive reshoots in order to fix a number of plot holes and continuity errors that arose in its plot after its studio handlers attempted to directly tie the Spider-Man spinoff to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's good. Everybody's happy with that, right? This whisper was first dished out to the digital streets courtesy of veteran Hollywood industry reporter and the eponymous founder of the InSnyder entertainment news outlet, Jeff Snyder, via the January 19th episode of his and film critics John Roca's The Hot Mic Podcast. That's right. Addressing the discrepancy between the Dakota Johnson-led film's position as a canon prequel to Sony's ongoing Spider-Man Without Spider-Man film universe, and the fact that its supposed version of Uncle Ben, as portrayed by Severance star Adam Scott, looks far too young to be to have a superhero-aged nephew. The scooper asserted to his co-host, quote, "I was always under the impression that Madam Web was set in the 90s. That's what I thought we were told." He goes on to say this. To this end, Snyder explained that thanks to the film being set just a few decades in the past, the film's production team, quote, "thought for some reason Andrew Garfield was going to be the Spider-Man in that universe. Not that he was going to be in the movie, but like maybe this was for some kind of sequel. But for whatever reason, Andrew Garfield was supposed to be the Spider-Man in that world." However, while the existence of Garfield as Sony's current incarnation of Spider-Man aligned with the film's 90s setting, everything went to crap when afterwards it was decided it was going to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man, as this change meant that the timeline didn't timeline up anymore. As such, Snyder revealed, "I heard that the reshoots for Madam Web, the latest reshoots, which I thought they were up to something else, but I'm told the reshoots were actually to remove the 90s references from the movie because someone effed up doing the math as far as like Tom Holland's age would actually be this or whatever it was. So I would say that when Madam Web comes out, don't expect any 90s references. They got rid of the 90s setting because that made sense when it was Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but not for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That's what the reshoots are for. Like, to address whether it's costume style or the phone they pull out. I don't effing know exactly. I was told that it was a real someone effed up, like up high in terms of the timeline and math. And it was just a simple matter of effed up math. That happens, right? With your multi-million-dollar productions, you just kind of forget the timeline of things, like how old this kid in the future is when you're talking about him in the past, It's common mistake, right? Like who carries a calculator in their pocket, right? Remember your math teacher telling you, see what happens, right? They should have learned long division. It should be noted that despite all of his indications to the fact, Snyder did not specifically confirm whether or not Madam Web will indeed feature Tom Holland's Peter Parker as its resident Spider-Man, or, in light of this timeline debacle, will they just cut any webs connecting the film to any specific Spider-Man? Ultimately, fans can find out just what direction Sony has chosen to go in when Madam Web leaps onto the big screen February 14th. Hooray! We're all excited. You're going to be the first one in line, aren't you? It's going to be great. Hooray, Madam Web. Oh, please stop.